Hello, people. Today we are hopping into Leviticus 1 through 3. It's January 28th, 2025. It's a good day. Thank you for being here. I apologize for the sloppiness of the last video. We're going to get back on track with the fresh new chapter. At the time of recording, I've had about this many hours of sleep in the last 36 hours. So it's been fun. Life is great. Anyway, if you missed the last episode, just basically they finally got the tabernacle all built, and Aaron and his sons all anointed and consecrated with all their garments, and the whole place is put together, the outside, the inside, all the furniture that goes along in there in the tabernacle. So let's just jump in. Leviticus 1, the burnt offering. It should be short and sweet today, which is much needed for me because I'm still a little bit under the weather. We're going to power through. So now on to the burnt offering. Now the Lord called to Moses and spoke to him from the tabernacle of meeting, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when any one of you brings an offering to the Lord, you shall bring your offering of the livestock, of the herd, and of the flock. If his offering is a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own free will at the door of the tabernacle of meeting before the Lord. Then he shall put his hand on the head of the burnt offering, and it will be accepted on his behalf to make atonement for him. He shall kill the bull before the Lord, and the priests, Aaron's sons, and shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood around the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And he shall skin the burnt offering and cut into pieces. The sons of Aaron, the priests, shall put fire on the altar and lay the wood in order on the fire. Then the priests, Aaron's sons, shall lay the parts, the head, and the fat in order on the wood that is on the altar. But he shall wash its entrails and its legs with water, and the priests shall burn all on the altar as a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. If his offering is of the flocks of sheep or goats as a burnt sacrifice, he shall bring a male without blemish as well. He shall kill it on the north side of the altar before the Lord, and the priests, Aaron's sons, and shall sprinkle its blood all around the altar. And he shall cut it into pieces with its head and its fat, and the priests shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire upon the altar. But he shall wash the entrails and legs with water. Then the priest shall bring it all and burn it on the altar. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord." So, basically the same thing. If it's a bull or a sheep or a goat, it seems like the same process to me. So onward. And if the burnt sacrifice of the offering to the Lord is of birds, then he shall bring it to the offering of turtle doves or young pigeons. The priest shall bring it to the altar, wring off its head, and burn it on the altar. Its blood shall be drained out at the side of the altar, and he shall remove the crop with its feathers and cast it beside the altar to the east side into the place for ashes. Then he shall split it at its wings, but shall not divide it completely. And the priest shall burn it on the altar, on the wood that is on the fire. It is a burnt sacrifice of offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. So, a little bit different when it comes to birds, but yeah, that's really not too complicated. I'm following that. On to the grain offering, not Exodus, we're in Leviticus now. Leviticus 2. When anyone offers a grain offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil onto it, and put frankincense on it. He shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests, one of whom shall take it from it, his handful of fine flour and oil with all the frankincense, and the priest shall burn it as a memorial on the altar, an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. The rest of the grain offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is most holy of the offerings to the Lord made by fire. If you bring, um, and if you bring as an offering of grain offering baked in the oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers anointed with oil. But if your offering is a grain of offering baked in a pan, it shall be of fine flour, unleavened, and mixed with oil as well. You shall break it into pieces and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. If your offering is a grain offering baked in a covered pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. You shall bring the grain offering that is made of these things to the Lord, and when it is presented to the priest, he shall bring it to the altar. Then the priest shall take from the grain offering a memorial portion and burn it on the altar. It is an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. There's a trend here. And what is left of the grain offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is made most holy of the offerings to the Lord made by fire. No grain offering which you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven, for you shall burn no more. For you shall burn no leaven nor any honey in any offering to the Lord made by fire. As for the offering of the first fruits, you shall offer them to the Lord, but they shall not be burned on the altar for a sweet aroma. Breaking the trend. And every offering of your grain offering you shall season with salt. You shall not allow the salt of the covenant of your God to be lacking from your grain offerings. With all your offerings you shall offer salt. If you offer a grain offering of your first fruit to the Lord, you shall offer the grain offering of your first fruits, green heads of grain roasted on the fire, grain beaten from full heads. And you shall put oil on it, and lay frankincense on it. It is a grain offering after all. It doesn't say after all, but I don't know. I just wanted to put that in there, I guess. Then the priest shall burn the memorial portion, part of its beaten grain and part of its oil, with all the frankincense, as an offering made by fire to the Lord. So, that's how to do a grain offering too. On to the peace offering, Leviticus 3. My voice cracked, I'm sorry. I'm kind of losing my voice, a little under the weather. I think I might have mentioned that. So, I really do appreciate y'all bearing with me. I might be harder to listen to. I'm trying to compensate with jokes, I guess. So, Leviticus 3, the peace offering. When his offering is a sacrifice of peace offering, if he offers it of the herd, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall sprinkle the blood all around the altar. Then he shall offer some of the sacrifice of the peace offering, an offering made by fire to the Lord, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and above the fatty lobe attached to the liver, above the kidneys, he shall remove. And Aaron's sons shall burn it on the altar upon the burnt sacrifice, which is on the wood that is on the fire, as an offering made by fire, a sweet aroma to the Lord. If his offering as a sacrifice of peace offering to the Lord is of the flock, whether male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offers a lamb, excuse me, as his offering, then he shall offer it before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and kill it before the tabernacle of meeting, and Aaron's sons shall sprinkle its blood all around the altar. Then he shall offer from the sacrifice of the peace offering as an offering made by fire to the Lord, its fat and the whole fat tail, which he shall remove close to the backbone, and the fat that covers the entrails. And the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, the 2 kidneys and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys, he shall remove. And the priests shall burn them on the altar as food, an offering made by fire to the Lord. And if his offering is a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord. He shall lay his hand on its head and kill it before the tabernacle of meeting, and the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle its blood all around the altar. Then he shall offer it, his offering, as an offering made by fire to the Lord. The fat that covers the entrails, and the fat that is on the entrails, the two kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the flanks, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver above the kidneys he shall remove. And the priest shall burn them on the altar as food, an offering made by fire for a sweet aroma. All the fat is the Lord's. This shall be a perpetual statute throughout your generations in all your dwellings. You shall eat neither fat nor blood. Yep. A lot of us are eating fat and blood, steaks and everything. Earlier I had a question. Something popped up to me. I told myself to hold off, and then I lost it. But it was kind of questioning something about like the procedure. But if I think about it, I might comment on this video later, and we'll dive into that, I guess. But yeah, that's gonna be it. It was a nice and short, sweet video today. Thank y'all for tuning in to me every day. We're nearly at 100 subscribers. I really can't believe it. It's such an honor to, just be presenting this to you. I'm getting to learn and hopefully, provide entertainment and education to y'all, and just dive into the Word. It's like I got my own little church here, and I really don't want to lead anyone astray. So make sure to just hold me accountable, or correct me, or nudge me in the path, the right direction. I know some of you watching are a lot more experienced in your spiritual endeavors than I am. So please just share your guidance. I really encourage it. But I think that's going to do it for today. Tune in tomorrow. We'll just keep continuing on this journey. Thank you so much. Oh, and you have to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and make fun of me for stumbling on my words sometimes.